This is Matthew Kratter's Bitcoin University. Today I want to answer the question, should you buy a multifamily rental or Bitcoin instead? And none of this is investment advice. This was a question from Yusef Zuzu. He started off by saying, though, I'd appreciate a similar video on Peter Schiff, so I wanted to cover that very quickly. Peter Schiff, quite easy. Peter Schiff may have the greatest anti-investing track record in global financial history because he's been consistently bearish and wrong on the world's best performing asset since at least 2011. Those were the earliest references I could find that he was making to Bitcoin. Now, being wrong is forgivable, staying wrong is not. So Peter Schiff is a complete clown. He's a used gold salesman, and he should be completely ignored. He's not very funny, he's not very smart, and he's probably guided tens of thousands, if not more, people away from the most important asset in modern financial history. And he also ran a bank in Puerto Rico that was shut down by the authorities and imploded. This is the great Peter Schiff Bitcoin tragedy. Moving on to multifamily rentals, this was the second part of this question from Yusef Zuzu. Also, could you advise for or against a strategy that combines investing in Bitcoin as well as multifamily rentals to accumulate cash flow and net worth? For example, I plan to sell 80% of my 5 Bitcoin when the Pi cycle tops to buy a 40-unit value add apartment using 80% leverage, so borrowing 80% of the purchase value. In a year and a half after renovation and increasing rents, I'll use 50% of cash flow, estimated to be around $25K per year, to buy back Bitcoin during Bitcoin's bear market. I plan on selling 3/4 of Bitcoin at the next Pi cycle top and do a cash out refi, achieving near infinite return in order to buy another apartment building. Overall IRR should exceed 30%. This plan achieves cash flow, equity, and maintains investment in Bitcoin. So I just wanted to cover that next. A multifamily rental is just a residential property with more than one rental unit. It could be considered probably a duplex or triplex would be considered, but normally it's a larger apartment building or condo complex or multi-dwelling. MDU is what they're often called as well. So I'm going to be really blunt here, and no disrespect intended to the person who asked this very good question. Selling your Bitcoin to buy some gross concoction of drywall, wood framing, and cat piss smelling carpets, I think is just a terrible idea. If you're enjoying this video so far, just pause really briefly here to ask you to help to support this channel's educational mission, talking about cat piss smelling carpets. Hit the subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment, question, suggestion for a future video. Share this video with a friend or family member. So if you buy one of these multifamily units, you're going to be paying property taxes, you're going to be paying insurance, you'll probably have, well, in this case, there's an 80% mortgage, so you'll have mortgage interest, and you'll also have lots of maintenance. People are going to be smoking pot in their rooms and letting their bathtubs leak onto the floors below them and letting their puppies pee on the carpets as well as their cats. And then if you're really unlucky, you'll get a genuine drug cartel or gang taking over your building like they did in Aurora, Colorado, or in Altadena, California style conflagration that leaves you filling out insurance company paperwork for many years. Basically, if you sell your Bitcoin to buy an apartment building or a multifamily dwelling, you're going to be trading a digital and indestructible asset for one that's subject to fires, winds, floods, lightning strikes, arson, etc. And then if there's another pandemic or local or national emergency, the federal government or local government is probably going to tell you that you can't collect rent from anyone, but that you're still responsible for paying your mortgage on the building and your property taxes. Real estate is not portable. This is a huge risk. It's subject to jurisdiction risk. It's subject to regulatory risk and confiscation risk. It also makes you a bit of a political and social target, depending how big you get, because as a quote-unquote evil landlord who hates the poor, because you're charging them rent and not letting them live there for free. If you live in especially commie part of the country or part of the world, you'll have to deal with this as well. And I know I've owned multiple rentals. I've seen it all. Real estate, I think, apart from your own Bitcoin citadel that you live in with your family, real estate's a pretty terrible investment. The returns are quite low, and they're only satisfactory because of the large amount of leverage employed. So 20% down payment, for example, means 5-to-1 leverage. Just the only reason the returns are as high as they've been. And you're basically, when you're long real estate, it's a bet on a dying and depreciating dollar. That's the real bet. And the bet is, will the dollar depreciate more quickly than, thus making the price of your apartment go up? Will it depreciate more quickly than all of the expenses you have to deal with? And if your building burns down, then of course you'll have to deal with that as well. I think this obsession with cash flow is very fiat, and we all live in a fiat world, and we still think in fiat ways. But you don't need to invest in bonds or dividend stocks or rentals in order to generate cash flow. You should simply invest in the best assets that you think are going to have the highest performance, and then sell off tiny bits when you need to in order to create your own, what you can call synthetic dividends or synthetic cash flow. You don't even need to exchange your Bitcoin for fiat if you're storing your wealth in Bitcoin, because you can also buy lots of things directly with it. Biggest mistake, I think, of the 2010s, besides, of course, not investing in Bitcoin early on, which is what I missed out on, biggest mistake of the 2010s was investing in boring, slow growth, low return dividend stocks like Coca-Cola, for example, in order to capture that quote unquote juicy 3% dividend yield, when you could have just bought the FANG stocks instead, none of which offered dividends at the time. I always heard this as a critique of investing in the FANG stocks like I was. But instead, you make a huge multiple off your money, and then you can sell off little bits as you need cash flow. But my dividends, like Amazon, Google, Netflix, etc., Bitcoin is a network that is taking over the world. You can think of it in network terms. It's going to be the new global reserve asset and currency. It's going to be accumulated by all billionaires, central banks, and countries. And today, in 2025, right before Trump takes office, you want to trade it for some dank multifamily rental? I think this is just completely crazy. So here's the price of multifamily real estate apartments. This is an index. This says in the millions of dollars. So I'm not sure exactly how this index works, because that would mean you have these things that cost hundreds of millions or billions of dollars. But let's just treat it as an index. We can see the slowdown after the great financial crisis, or going into the great financial crisis, and then this long boom in multifamily dwellings in the 2010s. And then, of course, they peaked when interest rates were low and right before the Fed began raising them. And then they've been selling off. Multifamily apartments have been selling off. But if we denominate this in Bitcoin rather than in an index or in dollars, we can see that multifamilies have been getting cheaper year after year after year, that Bitcoin's been outperforming them. So this is over the past 5 years. Bitcoin apartments have lost approximately 85% of their value, 86% of their value, going from 35 on this index down to 5. So that's a huge collapse and a huge opportunity cost if you were owning a multifamily apartment instead of owning Bitcoin instead. And then if we look at it over 10 years, you can see how much Bitcoin has outperformed multifamilies. And of course, it's outperformed everything else. And I would expect this to continue. So you're really trading a high performance asset for a low performance asset if you buy a multifamily. As I said, multifamily is down 86% over the past 5 years. In this comment, Yusef Zuzu says overall IRR should exceed 30%. And my response is, that's it. That's it for all this work, the sweat, the tears, the nightmare tenants, dealing with regulations and making sure you have the right paperwork filled out with the city, and then worrying whenever there's a fire or a tornado or a hurricane. Overall, IRR should exceed 30%. I don't think that's high enough, and especially you can get much higher returns in Bitcoin in a very safe way. So these are the CAGR returns, the compounded annual growth rates. 1 year, 139%, 2 year, 118%. Again, these are the compounded amounts, or the annualized amounts. Going 3 years out, you're still beating 30%. 4 years out, you're tied with about 30%. 5 years out, you're making 63% a year. So this 30% a year, I don't think is enough, and I don't think it's worth it, especially when you have to deal with all the hassles. I should be really clear here. Of course, there's nothing wrong with buying a multifamily rental if that's where your expertise and your passion are. The world needs real estate investors. The world needs apartment buildings. The world needs property management people, and people who also fix up buildings and flip them, etc. But if you are trying to optimize for risk, returns, and lifestyle, just buy Bitcoin and go to the beach instead. Don't buy a house on the beach either. Just rent and hodl BTC instead. Now, this was the other thing that really struck me about Yusef's comment. He had very strong faith in his ability to time the Bitcoin market. So he's going to sell 80% of his 5 Bitcoin when the pi cycle tops. So he's going to sell at the top. He's going to buy back at the bottom. This is a message for Yusef and also for you, and also a reminder to myself. you don't know how to time bull and bear markets. You don't know how to do it in the stock market. You don't know how to do it in the Bitcoin market, and no one else does either. There's also no guarantee that the pi cycle indicator or any other indicator will work in the future. I think these are pretty much worthless, which is why I don't cover them on the channel. There's no law that says that the 4-year cycle will still hold when there's a nation-state arms race to accumulate Bitcoin. This is the real risk of trying to time the top and sell some local top when Bitcoin, there's a very good chance it just keeps going up and up and up for years and years as the 4-year cycle breaks. Again, no one knows. We're in uncharted territory, and this is why it's good to stay humble, stack sats, and just hodl. Don't try to trade. Don't try to time these things. The whole world is going to figure out that they should dump their smelly duplexes and triplexes and multifamily rentals and apartment buildings and buy Bitcoin with the proceeds. This is the direction the smart people are going. So don't be the one who's moving backwards and downgrading yourself from a pristine asset to a dank, smelly asset. At the end of this video here, I wanted to cover one last news item. As we know, the United States has been hodling approximately 198,000 Bitcoin that they basically took from the Self Road, and they also took from the hacker of the Bitfinex hack. Well, in a recent development happening yesterday, U.S. government says it's going to be returning the Bitcoin recovered from that 2016 Bitfinex hack in kind. So not just returning fiat, but returning approximately 94,000 Bitcoin back to the rightful owners. This is definitely the right thing to do. But after doing it, we can see here China has 190,000 Bitcoin. The United States will have far fewer Bitcoin than China does. So I think this makes it actually quite likely that we see even more buying for strategic Bitcoin reserve under Trump. And we're getting hints of that in this article from Axios, What to Watch. Trump is going to be very focused on the price of Bitcoin. A top transition source told us it's another stock market for him, the source explained, adding that Trump would love for Bitcoin to hit $150,000 per coin early in his presidency. I think this is quite likely. Again, we have no way of knowing this, but I think the fact that we're now behind China is going to light a fire under Trump, and he's going to want to accumulate Bitcoin more quickly at the beginning than he otherwise would have. Basically, it's nice that this Bitcoin's being returned to the Bitfinex. On the other hand, this could just be another FU from the Biden administration, the outgoing Biden administration, to the incoming Trump administration. So I think it's very likely that Trump tries to reverse this, and buying back 90,000 Bitcoin, 94,000 Bitcoin is not at all a trivial amount. So I think we're going to continue to see price appreciation. But again, no one knows the near-term future in Bitcoin. The long-term future is Bitcoin's going to $5, $10, $20 million per coin and beyond. The path it takes to get there, no one knows, which is why we hodl. Don't exchange our Bitcoin for other assets. Don't try to time the market. And also don't trade in and out of Bitcoin. This is a way to really miss out on those very few days per year when Bitcoin does most of its movement. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the subscribe and like buttons. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I publish my next video. And let me know your questions and comments in the comment section below. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.